All right, how you doing, White Plains? This is Joe Ricca, Superintendent of Schools, and I am really thrilled to be here with one of our alum, Benjamin A. Norris. Ben Norris is one of our Tigers, and he graduated. Ben, what year did you graduate?
2008.
2008. So he's been out for a little while, a couple of years, doing a lot of really amazing things. And if you've watched in the past, I do like to, from time to time, whenever I can pin them down, find our alumni, and talk to them about how things have been going since they've graduated from White Plains. And Ben has really had gosh, Ben, I'm gonna call it almost like a Cinderella story. It's amazing. I know you were super involved here in the community before you graduated, and since then there's just been a lot going on. So you went to MAS. Was it MAS?
I went to MAS, loved MAS, holds a big place in my heart.
Wait, hold on. I do have. There we have Ben Norris, MAS, as still seen on the wall at MAS. Ben, can you believe it?
Yeah, that's still probably the best picture I've ever taken. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that it's living in infamy.
It's living on, and then you have this one too. This was, how old do you think you were in here?
I always looked young for my age, but I don't know, maybe 8 or so. I always loved to dress up, so it makes sense that I went down the career path that I went down.
Yeah, and that's kind of, I'm like setting that up right now for people who might not know. But I had to show this one because this one is you. You were quite a soccer player too. I've heard, and
I like to think so. I think I was pretty solid.
Yeah, and that's your dad right above you.
That's right. Pretty spitting image.
Yeah, pretty well. I always joke with your dad, and I say, Ben looks like his mom. But for those who don't know, Ben is Charlie Norris, our Board of Education Vice President, Charlie Norris's son, and your dad is pretty famous, but I think you're surpassing him. So, what have you been doing, Ben? Tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
Yeah, so I moved out to LA almost 9 years ago, and I've been doing the film and television thing ever since. I kind of fell into acting. I thought I was going to do writing and producing. I still did that, but acting just started finally kind of snowballing for me. And then in the recent 2 years, I've had some success. I'm on a Netflix show called Never Have I Ever. We did the first season that came out April 27th. We'll be shooting the second season at the end of this year, which I'm really excited about. And I'm now a recurring guest star on an NBC show called Superstore. So, 8.5 years in the making, and things are finally starting to happen.
It's amazing. And I do want to tell you, and I'm not at all embarrassed to say this, when Never Have I Ever was in the top 10 on Netflix, first of all, I think it launched right amid the pandemic.
Yeah, it was right there.
Right, so everybody was watching Netflix. And everybody's talking about Never Have I Ever. And I'm walking around, by the way, this for everyone at home, this is like the second time I've met him in my life. But I'm walking around telling everybody, yeah, I know the guy. I Never Have I Ever. So that was pretty great. So it is, I can only imagine how difficult it is to pick up and leave White Plains, move across the country, and say, hey, I'm going to jump into showbiz. I'm going to jump into acting now. Do you think that there is anything that you picked up or you learned or you took away from White Plains in your time here and sort of use that to move yourself forward in your career?
Yeah, I mean, my friends out here always make fun of me for how much pride I have in my hometown, but White Plains made me who I am, and one thing that I loved about White Plains is its diversity and how much opportunity there is to kind of immerse yourself into all that it has to offer. And so, when you're moving to a place like LA, when you're moving to a place that it's just so competitive and so cutthroat, I do think that I learned how to kind of keep myself busy growing up in White Plains. And I think that's really important for someone who's going to get into an industry this competitive, because it's, you deal with a lot of rejection and whatnot. And so as long as you could stay busy and continue doing things that you love, whether it be hobbies or just hanging out with friends and I think I definitely picked all of that up from growing up in White Plains. I mean, I love where I'm from. I'm very lucky in that sense.
It is. It's an amazing community, and it's a city, but it's a small town, really. And there's just a lot of love here, and a lot, and like you said, a ton of pride,
Yeah.
which is really an amazing thing. So you really have to have, I guess, thick skin. You really have to sort of have that desire to keep pushing forward. You do. Do you really face?
That's the number one ingredient that you need, because like I said before, is you have to deal with a lot of rejection. It was interesting. Like I grew up, I had a great group of friends growing up, but I was pretty small, a little underdeveloped growing up. So I do think that sometimes I was the butt of certain jokes, and I did learn how to, I learned a defense mechanism of humor to kind of just turn it around or make light of things. And I think a great way to disarm someone is to make them smile or make them laugh. And so that is something that I felt strongly about picking up, when I was younger, and out here, it really helps, because sometimes you just can't take things too seriously. And in my industry, you're getting rejection, not based off of who you are. It's never personal, and you have to kind of accept that and understand that. And once you get past that, then the rejection's a bit easier, because if I audition for a role, I don't get it, because it's not because the director or the casting director doesn't like me. It's just because I'm not that role, so you have to have very thick skin, but at the same time, you just gotta you have to love it. You have to love it in order to keep marching forward.
Oh, I can't. And listen, I mean, there's no way you could be successful, I would think, if you didn't love it. Now, that sense of humor, when you were in school, did you work on that sense of humor in class? If I started talking to your old teacher, or, I'm sorry, your former teachers, would they say, Ben was quick with a joke? Or
I think so. I think there was a bit of a class clown in myself. I don't know if it was necessarily kind of in front of the whole class trying to make everyone laugh, or more so making the person next to me laugh. And I'm very proud of the fact that I never got a detention once all throughout high school. However, never. But I can't even imagine how many times the teacher told me to stop talking in class. And so that was always my issue, because I wanted to make sure that if the teacher said something and I thought something funny could come off of that, I was gonna say that. So it was always kind of like, it was harmless kind of stuff. And I think that's why I never really got in trouble. I didn't do a great job at making a lot of teachers laugh, but I did a good job at making my peers laugh. So.
Well, let me tell you, we teachers are notoriously very fickle when it comes to jokes. So if you could get us to crack a smile, that's a huge win.
Absolutely.
In your role on Never Have I Ever, you're playing a high school student.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Listen, it's a big compliment to you're a couple of years out of high school and you're still playing a high school student. But do you ever channel your 2007, 2008 Ben Norris for that role?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I channel it the entire time. I think Trent is my character's name. I think Trent is absolutely some type of manifestation from what I was in high school. Not fully. I did caricaturize myself a little bit, but at the same time, the writers have a vision, and you got to fit whatever that is. But yeah, I think me enjoying my time in high school really helps being able to play a high schooler, because it's still always fresh in my mind what the feeling was like walking through those halls or sitting in that classroom. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know if I could play the character this well if I didn't really love my time in high school, truly. Because I think Trent, my character, I think he hates school, but I think he loves the social aspect of school. And that was pretty similar to what I experienced. I never wanted to go home after classes. I didn't love classes, but I loved the clubs and the people, and I just liked having a community, and I think I channel that with my character.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, and that sounds, that does not sound atypical for many of, I think, our experiences. And it's neat though that, to see that you're able to reach back to that part of your life and then bring it forward now and apply it to your own profession. I remember in one of the episodes, Trent and one of his other buddies, the three of you were working on a project,
Yeah.
right? And you and the other guy are kind of letting the female character kind of take over the whole project. You just want to hang out.
Yeah.
And I couldn't help but laugh because I'm saying to myself this, I think many of us have lived through something like that before.
Absolutely.
When kids, when our Tigers now are watching this, we all, when we were in high school, knew people who said, I'm going to be I'm going to be in the Yankees. I'm going to be a rock star. I'm going to be in movies. And it's not really something that often happens. Well, you did it, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say to kids right now who are thinking about sort of those real long reach aspirations? You did a lot of things before you moved out to LA.
I did. Yeah. I think, I think I always wanted to do this before I actually knew I wanted to do this, because I was always putting on little shows for my parents, or like I said, trying to make people laugh in class. I didn't truly realize that I wanted to be like some type of performer until, maybe college or maybe late high school. But, these kind of fields are incredibly, incredibly difficult and trying, and just like I said before, competitive. And the number one piece of advice that I have is you have to work hard, because any day that you're not working hard, there's literally a million other kids who are working harder than you. And I think that's what's interesting about a city like LA, is that that's a breeding ground for talent. And so you're constantly being compared to those around you. And so it is possible. It's absolutely possible to set your goals and achieve them. But at the end of the day, it's up to you. It's not up to anyone else, So you have to work hard. You have to love it, and you have to be confident, because a lot of the times you'll say, I want to be an actor or a director or a musician, and some people, and sometimes it's hard to say that, because on the other end of that conversation, someone's sitting like, yeah, okay, we'll see if that happens. But like, it doesn't matter what they think. It does not matter what they think. But also, I have to be brutally honest. You have to also know your limitations. My father says, he always says that he would support me in anything that he thinks that I could do. And he said, if I wanted to be a professional NBA player, he wouldn't support me, because he doesn't think that I had that in me. And that's absolutely true. I mean, it's 100%. I'm 5'8", so I don't think, there's not many of them,
Maybe.
Yeah. So, like I said, understand your limitations, but in any field that you want to get in, if you don't reach one specific type of position, there's 1,000 other positions within that industry, So love whatever industry you're going into, understand all aspects of it. I studied film. I didn't study acting, because I knew that if acting wasn't going to work out, I was going to be a writer or a producer, or even in the sound department, something like that, So whatever it is you want to get into, research it, and work hard, You
had a plan. I mean, let's face it. You had a plan. You went to school, you studied, you had this aspirational stretch that you want. Look, I'm going to do this. My heart's in it. But you also had a plan. Hey, if that doesn't work out, I do have something that I can pivot to. Right. And I think, Ben, I think you summed it up great. I have to tell you, it's been fantastic spending a few minutes with you. I know that everybody here in White Plains is rooting for you, and we're going to keep watching on Netflix. We're going to keep watching on TV, and I know that there are going to be more and more things happening. Please make sure you keep us up to date with what's going on. It is really amazing to see that White Plains pride and its spirit all the way out on the other side of the country, and just doing great things. So thank you for taking a few minutes this afternoon to get together and reconnect with White Plains.
Of course, I'm happy to do it, and any time really. I love the city and I love the school district, so I'm here for you guys.
Thank you. And if there's anybody else out there who thinks that they might want to chat a little bit, tell us what's happening, feel free to reach out to me at any time, and we can connect. And we love connecting with are graduates from White Plains. And when you look back to the class of 2008, it was not a long time ago at all. So even if you're in a class that maybe you're in my graduating class in 1996, all the old people, feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Ben, thanks so much. Stay safe, my friend.
Thank you.
And stay successful. And we'll see you next time.
I appreciate it,
Take
man.
care,
Thank you.
everybody.